Do you want to know how amazing people connect? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie.
Thanks for connecting. And if you like what you hear, please share.
Special thank you to our sponsors of Marketing with Russ, the Alzheimer's Association, Kicking Cancer, Lincoln Media Group, and Networking for Students by D. Scott Smith. For more information on the Alzheimer's Association and how to give to this amazing organization, go to alz.org. And for more information on Kicking Cancer and how to support this amazing organization that supports those and their families going through cancer, go to kicking-cancer.org. Gain visibility in your community with Lincoln Media Group at lincolnmediagroup.com, where you can find all about their media services.
Networking for Students, now available on Amazon, dscottsmith.com/students. Order a copy for your student or the graduate in your life.
Music by Connor Hedge and Protestant, used with permission. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. I am ready for a great Monday and a great week. Boy, I tell you, it's exciting. We're in the holiday season. It's a great time. I'm so thankful, celebrating the true reason for the season, giving God thanks for my family, for all that I've been blessed with, for getting through this fall into the winter and finding out that there's no sign of disease and that there's no cancer right now in my body, which is amazing. Thank you for all of you that have been praying. Keep on praying, because I have lots of other things going on from the cancer treatment, but I am thankful and blessed for where I'm at. So thankful for life every day. Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. We're here every Monday and Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for your viewing and listening pleasure. That's right. Guess what? After we go live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, it sits on LinkedIn and YouTube forever, Facebook for 30 days. You go back and watch it to your heart's delight. And then guess what? It converts to audio podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So there are so many opportunities for you to like, share, to comment, to engage. Even if you can't engage live today, you can still engage on those platforms just like you do here. You can still connect. All the information is there to connect with. Our guest today, Julie, she's going to be amazing. Connect with me, connect with each other, whatever. So thankful for the great opportunities we have. Technology, isn't it a wonderful thing? Right. I know sometimes it's a pain, but usually it's wonderful. So anyway, so thankful that you're here this morning. You know, for those people that are new, I just want to say welcome. Thank you for coming to Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. Hoping that you'll be back Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Guess what? Next week, we're going to keep on going. We even have a Christmas special on Christmas Day and a New Year's special on New Year's Day. So love to have you pop into those. Those will be short, but they'll be just great messages. So you don't want to miss that. And if you miss it on that day because you're spending time with your family, as you should, you can catch it on replay, or you can catch it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So what is this show all about? Especially if you're new, what are we talking about here? Well, it's all about how amazing people connect. And I'm all about people that are all about connection and community building. Super excited today to talk to Julie because she is doing some great things, and I can't wait to hear about all that she has going on. But I want to tell you that connection and community building, I think, is at the foundation of any good marketing plan, any good business, really any good life. So what you need to do is get out there and get connecting, talk to people, get the motion moving. You've heard about the know, like, and trust factor. You can't do that unless you actually get out there and connect with people. How are they ever going to get to know you, like you, and trust you if you don't connect and build community with people? That is so vital to all that you're doing. So obviously, I love to connect. If you haven't figured that out already, here we are. Okay, so go to russhedge.com. So if you know my name, I keep it really, really simple. If you know my name, you know how to connect with me. russhedge.com. Would love for you to go there. There's free download you can that will sign you up for my amazing little short encouraging emails in the morning. Super. I'm just all about encouraging you and inspiring you and lifting you up. That is what my new book is all about. Life happens and then you choose. Right there behind me. Man, I tell you, if you have not got your copy yet, great time to get it, and get it for all your friends and family for Christmas. If you want to encourage and inspire people, that will do the trick. I'm telling you. Easy read, nice and non-threatening. I use the John Maxwell format, bold, and actually I use a little bit bigger font on purpose so it's easy to read. And I'm telling you, you'll be blessed. So you get that on Amazon. All the information is in there, or you can go to russhedge.com, and under Buy Book Now, you can get any of my books. So you get that, my original book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, and the 4 anthologies I wrote in between the two. Would love for you to pick that up so I can inspire you that way. I just feel like God has really used me in that way and really inspired everything that's said in there. So anyway, also want to tell you, our YouTube page is exploding. Would love for you to join today. In fact, you can open a separate tab right now and put in Marketing with Russ Live. That's right. If you know the name of the show, again, I keep it simple. Marketing with Russ Live will get you to my YouTube page. And then you can subscribe. And what do you get? You get thousands of people that have been on all my live streams, Marketing with Russ, Russ Reels Live, the Experience Live with Russ and Scott, the Experience Local. Go there today. And for a little fun, there's some great things on YouTube Shorts. Well, like the marketing tip of the day that we're going to do here shortly, but also fun things like my cat. So you don't want to miss that. It'll make you smile today. So anyway, all right. Hope you do that. Also, before we get going, you want to make sure people know Julie's going to be on. So put on, make sure you share out everything that's going on and tag your friends. Let them know we're on, because it is Monday morning. I get that. Everybody's busy. Everybody's got a lot going on. I understand that. So take just a moment, remind your friends, let them know, and so they won't miss the fun and excitement. All right. With that, we've talked about, I think, everything we've got going on. I had an amazing book signing this last weekend again. Was so great, and I'm so blessed. But today I want to talk to you about the marketing tip of the day before we get started with Julie, because I do this every Monday and Thursday. Just give you a little snippet, just to give you a little push forward, get you moving for the week. And this, I think, will help. It's something we know, but we don't always do. So are you ready? Okay, here we go. This is your marketing tip of the day. Take action. You cannot sit still. You cannot be stopped. You must take action if you want things to happen. And it doesn't have to be big action. It can be one simple step at a time. I talk about that in Life Happens, and then you choose my new book. You just take one step at a time. Like Martin Luther King says, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just the first step. Just take one step. You know what? I love my journalism professor at Oregon State. She used to say, when you're stuck, just do the next dumb thing. That means just take the next step, do something, because it will pull you out and it will get things moving forward. Then people will see what you're doing. People will take notice, whether it's your business, whether it's your personal life, whether it's your family, nonprofit, whatever it is. You just got to take that next step and keep moving. And that's when beautiful things happen. That's when God can use you to do amazing things. So take the next step, take action, and that is your marketing tip of the day. All right, there we go. That'll get cut out separately, put on YouTube Shorts and social media all by itself. So you can share that out just by itself. I'd love for you to do that. With that, let's get Julie in the room and get this party started. Hey, Julie, how's it going?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. So great to see you this morning, and I appreciate you so much being on. Let's start from the basics. Who in the
Okay.
world is Julie, and what are you up to?
Well, at heart, I am an English riding instructor. I teach kids how to ride. Hunter jumpers is what we do. We go to horse shows, and I've been doing that for 30 years. And I have a good little business going. And on the side, I like to write. And just a few years ago, my parents went through a terrible ordeal. They both ended up passing away very, very close together, and I decided to write a book about the experience because one of them passed away from Alzheimer's and one passed away from cancer. And writing is in our family. My mom was a librarian, and my brother is also an author, and it just came naturally to me, and I wanted to do that. So I've also been writing a blog for, I don't know, 10 years probably. It started out all about my little daughter because I had her when I was almost 40 years old, and that was quite an experience to have a child at that stage of life. And so I started out writing about her, and it just kind of developed over time into talking about what was happening with my parents. So that's where this all came from.
Well, so this is amazing. And you are amazing. We've had this conversation before. You and I have so much in common. My dad passed away from cancer, had a little bit of dementia at the end. Mama had Alzheimer's and passed away from that it was within a couple of years of each other. There's a
Yeah.
little bit about that in my book because, as life happens, every day we choose where we're going from there and through things in my life. And that's part of it. I had to make choices and decide if I was going to move in a positive direction or not. And I tell you, it can be really hard dealing with those things.
Yes.
My beautiful wife is a librarian, so I got that as well.
Nice.
And of course, we both written books. So there you go. So we've got a lot in common. And I want to focus for a second on your book. So
Okay.
this is amazing. I've already looked up your book, and I got to make sure that I think I bought a copy already. I got to make sure that I have. But we'll get the information of your book in the comments today because it's on Amazon, right?
Yes.
Okay. We'll make sure to get that in there. But talk a little bit more about that because I think this can help a lot of people because there's a lot of people going through stuff.
Well, it started out, my mom was diagnosed with dementia when she was 69, and that was pretty young, really. And then when she was 70, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's officially. And the thing about it was that my mom grew up in Austin, and they were from a fairly wealthy family. And all the social norms back then, you just didn't talk about any kind of mental illness or any kind of issues in the family. Everything was kept very much a secret. And so she had a lot of mental illness in her immediate family. And as she developed dementia and then Alzheimer's, she did not tell me, she did not tell my dad, she did not tell anybody what was actually happening to her. And my dad, of course, figured it out faster than anybody else did. They'd been together for 50 years, and their story is just amazing. But finally, when I started putting all the pieces together, I started writing about it, but I didn't post anything because I knew that she would not want me to tell anybody what was happening, but I had to find some sort of outlet. So I started writing about it. I would send the posts to my brother so that he could see what was happening, what we were going through. And he lives in Austin, and my parents lived in East Texas. Well, when my daughter was 4, I guess my mom was about 71 at that point, they moved to North Texas to be close to me so that I could help, take care of them. And my dad was going through all sorts of physical issues. He had surgery on his leg, and then he had a staph infection and almost died. And the whole 4 years that they lived in Pilot Point, I was the caregiver and also raising a very young daughter and trying to run my business. And it was all a lot. It was very much a lot. So once my dad passed away in 2021, and then my mom, we had eventually found a home for her that was a very lovely, lovely place, small, just about 12 residents, very, very caring people. And I finally was at ease with where she was. And as she deteriorated, I started posting my blogs. And when I started posting them, I had so many people reach out to me to say, oh my gosh, this really helps. Thank you so much for doing this. We're going through the same thing. And I was writing really to let go of my own emotions, because as a caregiver, there's so many things out there that say, oh, take care of yourself. Go take a bubble bath. Go take a long walk. That does not really do it for you when you're in the middle of it. You can do all those things, and maybe for a few minutes it will help. But for me, I needed a bigger outlet. So I started writing about it, and it was really an outlet of all my emotions. And I wanted to let other people know that it is okay to be the caregiver, but to also feel sadness, grief, anger, frustration, resentment, and still completely love and cherish the people you're taking care of. And so I started writing that, and then I had someone reach out to me and said, hey, you really need to make this into a book. And I was still grappling with it, because even though my mom did not really know what was happening anymore, I just knew that she would not want all her secrets told. But finally, I was to the point where I was like, look, this is really meaning something to a lot of people who are reaching out to me that are just connected to me personally through my blog. And I just wanted to share what I went through, because another reason was when I was going through it, I looked everywhere for personal stories. What is really going to happen to my mom? What is the next step in Alzheimer's? And I couldn't find anything that would tell me what actually happens. There was a lot of the 7 steps of Alzheimer's, the 7 stages. And my mom never really fit into any one of those stages at any given time. It was always a mixture. She certainly did not step from one to the next to the next. That did not happen whatsoever. And then there was so many nitty gritty details of someone with Alzheimer's that just don't get told. People try and hide what's really happening. And so I wanted to put it all out there. I wanted everybody to know, your parent or loved one has Alzheimer's. This is what can happen. This is what can be next. It may not be the exact same for your person, because it turns it into, Alzheimer's is different for everybody. But I talked about sundowning. I talked about the anger that my mom felt, the fear, the frustration, losing her ability to speak freely. She would try and say things and couldn't remember what she wanted to say. And as a librarian, as a literary person, that was very, very hard on her. And that was at the very beginning. And then,
I want to jump in there real quick and say the hardest thing for me, I think at first, was my mama was the smartest person alive. She knew everything. She was so sharp. She knew everybody, our entire family. I didn't have to even remember distant cousins or people, because she knew everybody. And she would always introduce me and make sure I remembered who I was talking to. And so it was really difficult to accept that. And, my dad went first. He had lung cancer, but he had sundowners at the end. I would get these crazy calls in the middle of the night,
Oh God.
that they're locking down the town around him and all these conspiracy things were happening. And it was crazy. And so I had to learn really fast. And I had great people around me like you that helped me. One thing that I learned, I'm my mama's son. She was the happiest person alive. So I was blessed that her journey, she was happy till the end. She had moments where she had fear, but she was happy till the end. And so we put together what I called hashtag happy moments with mama. And
Yeah.
we would show those a lot of times to Alzheimer's groups that really it was encouraging because some of them were going through horrible, horrible things. And she called it what we did. She called it lapping and lapping. Her memory care had a circle hallway all the way around. So we would take circles or laps and we
Mm-hmm.
would laugh and sing. And I would take these little videos. One time somebody said to me, "Isn't that weird taking videos of your mom with Alzheimer's?" I said, "No, it's wonderful because the videos were just us singing and laughing and happy. It was no, personal conversations or anything." And so, and she didn't know really what was going on most of the time, but she knew she was happy. She
Mm-hmm.
knew that, she had joy and she remembered music. She was so musical. She
Yes.
remembered music till close to the end. And
Yes. Same
so
for my
that
mother.
was amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just think that was amazing. Go ahead.
It is amazing how music really stays with them for so long. I have a lovely video at this care home that my mom was at. They had some Christmas carolers, and they brought my mom. She was still walking at the time. They brought her to the door, and they took a video. And she's watching the carolers, and then all of a sudden she starts singing, and it just broke my heart because I was like, "Oh my gosh, she can't talk to me, but she can sing these songs that she remembers." And it was just astounding, and I will never forget that moment. But that's the kind of care home that we found was the kind that would do that for you. So many places aren't like that, and I detail that in the book too, because the first place we took her to, absolutely gorgeous place, very very well kept, brand new, lovely hallways, beautiful rooms, and they did not take good care of them whatsoever. It was simply a job for the people that worked there. There was very high turnover. And I learned very quickly that just because it looked nice did not necessarily mean that that was, a good place to have someone with dementia, because my mom actually ended up falling 9 times in 9 months at
Oh,
that place.
wow.
Yes. And this was during COVID. So she ended up in the hospital many times, and I was not able to be with her. And a lot of my blogs were written during that time because I was so frustrated. And I wanted to advocate for her, wanted to be her person, and I was not being allowed to do that. And that was a really, really difficult time to go through COVID with somebody who doesn't understand why you're not there, you
Right.
know? So that was really hard. But
We went through that same thing. Same time Mama had Alzheimer's during COVID. And so it was kind of unfortunately, the staff was doing the best they could. We had her in a really good place. They were doing the best they could, but a bunch of them were getting COVID. And so it then did end up in a lockdown. And thank God Mama had an outside room so we could talk to her through the window.
Many people did that.
Yeah, it was a blessing that she had that, but it was just such a hard time, and everybody declined so much because the lack of personal contact. It wasn't anybody's fault. Well, maybe the people that locked down the whole country, but besides that,
Right.
it was I mean, it was not a good time. So when we got back in there, she was nearing the end of her life and was put on hospice. So we were granted permission to come back in with masks on and to suit up and do all that stuff because of where she was. And so then we finally got back into her. Yeah. It was tough.
Yeah, it was tough. And about 6 months after COVID started, we as a family got really fed up with the way that the place my mom was at was handling things. And so we just went in there and basically got her and took her to this other place I had found. We didn't give them any choice. We didn't tell them we were coming. We just walked in. We were like, we're done with this. So I wrote about all of that frustration because it really felt like there was about 6 months of time that I lost with her. And those were
Yeah.
very crucial months because she was still at a point where she knew who I was. She could talk to us. She knew my brother. She knew my daughter. And the day that I walked in there to get her, she was sitting in her wheelchair in the dining area. And when I walked in, I hadn't seen her in person in 6 months. And she looked up at me and she said, "Where have you been?" And that was soul crushing. It was absolutely soul crushing. And so I wrote about that in the book, about, going through this horrible thing during COVID. I know a lot of people went through some really, really bad things during COVID. That was a terrible time for everyone. And then my dad, he didn't take care of himself because he was so upset over what had happened to my mom. He, being married for 50 years, when you're married for 50 years and you've always been your wife's person that helps and does and loves and cares, and then all of a sudden you can't, he was just completely heartbroken over that. And he ended up passing away before she did. And honestly, I felt, even though I missed my dad terribly and still do, I felt it was a blessing because I don't think he could have lived without her. And then in the end, he didn't have to.
Right.
And that was, part of God's plan, I think.
I think you're right. In fact, that was probably the same for my parents, but also Mama had got to the point with her Alzheimer's that it wasn't as hard when my dad passed away. In fact, she had a momentary, just total blank out. He passed away. We got a call 1 or 2 in the morning. Long story, but anyway, we went back to his place, and he was in the bedroom, laying on the bed, and I was out in the front room, my sister and I and our families. And Mama looks at me and she goes, what's his name in the other room? She had completely forgot him.
Yeah.
But in a way, that was a blessing because
Yes.
it helped her with her emotions. Then when I talked about it, it all came back to her, and she knew, but it wasn't as heart-wrenching as
Right.
it would have been.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah. We didn't actually end up telling my mom. She had, at that point, she didn't remember him and hadn't seen him in a long time. And we just decided it was kinder not to tell her. And she never mentioned it. So I think in her heart of hearts, she must have known, because if he had been alive, he would have been there. But we just made that decision. We couldn't tell her, because then she would know and then she would forget. And it just felt like, why would we put her through that? So we just ended up not telling her at all.
Right. Well, and some of that is just kindness, because, when they get to the end and they get to a certain point, just making them happy and going along with it. The whole family had it down. Mama would say something that made no sense, and everybody would go, "Yeah, woo, yeah, you're right." Well, and it would just be like, because it didn't matter. It didn't matter what she said. It really, at that point, only mattered how it made her feel.
Yes.
And so that's what we went with. Okay, you and I have to schedule another one. We got so much more to talk about, and the show's over. So Here's what we need to do. I need you to nail down your gold nugget for today. Please tell everybody what your one point that we talked about, what you think is most important for people to remember from today's conversation, and then let everybody know how they get in touch with you.
For me, the most important thing is just knowing that as a caregiver, that every emotion you have is perfectly valid, perfectly viable. You don't always have to be happy. You're allowed to have deep emotions about what you're going through. And then I have a website. It's just julietullos.com. And my blog is on there, and my author page is on there. I don't write my blog very often anymore. Occasionally I still write on there, but I've been extremely busy lately with other things in life, which has actually been somewhat of a blessing to be able to kind of move on a little bit and keep going. But I'm also on Facebook. Feel free to look me up.
Well, we will make sure we have a lot of that information there, but we'll make sure and there it is. Look at that. Faster than I thought. There's your website. We have all the information in the comments and in the show notes, everybody. So what does that mean? You can click on it and go right to Julie. You don't have to remember, just click on it. Go to Julie. You don't have to remember how to say her name, how to pronounce her name. You just click on that, and there you go. We got her email and her website all ready to go. Also, Julie, I just think you're such a blessing. We're gonna talk again. I want to really remind everybody, we put all the information about her book in the comments, and make sure and go and get that. There's an Amazon link for the book. Make sure and go get her book today. And just so appreciate that. Share this with your friends, everybody, for those that haven't been able to see. And I know a ton of you watch on replay. So please share this out after you've watched on replay as well. And make sure that you communicate with us. Say hi to Julie, say hi to me, and let us know that you're here. And we will reciprocate that. Appreciate that. So Julie, thank you so much. I'm going to say goodbye on screen, but hang tight in the green room for just a second. We'll reschedule.
All right. Thanks for having me.
You bet. You're a blessing. Thank you. All right. Wow. I mean, this really hits home with me for those people that don't know that already. Got to get Julie's book. Get a copy of my book. There's part of my journey with my parents in there as well. And I'm telling you, but make sure that you remember to spend time with those you love, because you know what? Time is short. And even if there's troubles and challenges going on, I had some of the best years the last couple of years with my parents, even though I had amazing parents and an amazing life. I had a great childhood. I was blessed, but I had some of the best times when Mama didn't even know what she was doing. We just had so much fun. So you've got to remember, every moment is precious and time is non-refundable. So make sure and take advantage of that. All right. With that, just want to remind you all to please check us out on YouTube. And I gave you that information here. Go to marketingwithruss.live, and that will put you on my YouTube page so you can subscribe. Please share this out and tag your friends. Even after we're done, if you're on replay, please put hashtag Team Replay, share this out, let everybody know. Make sure you connect with both of us. It's been ticking along the bottom there. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate everybody. Just appreciate you so much. Also, please get a copy of our books, man. They will help you. Get it on ebook for very inexpensive. And boy, I tell you, or paperback or hardback with my book. And I'm sure the same with Julie's. So make sure and do that. And just want to tell you how much we appreciate you. We'll be back on Thursday. We're here every Monday and Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for your viewing and listening pleasure. That's right. Always having fun. Make sure and get this out there. This is all about how amazing people connect. These stories like Julie's have value for your life, for your business, for everything you do. Please. I want to remind you that we are just so blessed to be sponsor driven and listener supported. Thank you to the Alzheimer's Association, Kicking Cancer, Lincoln Media Group, and Networking for Students by D. Scott Smith. Also, as I said, we are listener supported. So you can click the QR code or go to the link in the comments to give and help pay for the production costs of this. We'd appreciate that so much. And had another great book signing on Saturday. It was amazing. And just so thankful for that. So anyway, so blessed you're here today. Remember, we will be back on Thursday. Don't forget. Until then, have a blessed and amazing week. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody. See ya.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie. Be sure to subscribe in your favorite podcast app so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an amazing day.